Evals are 1 hour, follow-ups are 45 minutes. We don't double book. Granted, someone may be finishing up on compression and ice or something like that as we bring our next patient back. But
Hey, welcome back to the show. Today we have Michael Gorman back on the podcast, friend of the pod. Mike, good morning. What's going on?
how you doing, Dave? Thank you so much for having me. I love being on here. I'll be on here anytime for you.
Absolutely. So what are we talking about today?
We're talking about the outpatient clinic that I have now compared to the outpatient clinic I had in 2017. So I moved PT, been on here before. I told your audience before. We started as a mobile practice in June of 2020 here based in St. Louis. We grew in St. Louis. I started franchising the company in January 2022. We still do mobile. All my franchisees right now are doing mobile. We still do mobile in St. Louis and over into Illinois. But in summer of 2023, we opened our first outpatient clinic, and it's a much different clinic than what the outpatient clinic company I had before I sold in 2017. So I think we're going to talk about that.
Yeah. So let's get right into it. So, what's the difference? Why you had several locations, you sold those. That's on another episode for the audience to check out. There was some in network, some out of network, but it was, busy clinics. And then you started doing home visits. And then I saw, on LinkedIn, or maybe you mentioned to me, like you were, opening up a clinic. And I was like, why? I thought you were doing home visits and you're franchising out the iMove PT thing. So I don't understand any of that. Give me some context, like why a clinic? How is that different now than before? Obviously, you have a lot of learnings and experiences even since then. So what is, I guess, different now than before?
Dave, I think that I was, when I sold my practice back in 2017, I was pretty much exhausted and burned out on the normal outpatient model, which was we would do one patient every half hour. There was overlapping. Sometimes you'd have 2 or 3 patients at one time, and it was just exhausting. I think one of the hardest things on the human brain is to multitask like that, hour after hour, day after day. So I knew that when I thought about, well, of course, when we started the mobile side back in 2020, obviously that's all one-on-one. You can never, see 2 patients at a time. And I really fell in love with that model. And so when I started thinking about the outpatient clinic, I'm like, I'm not going to go back to the outpatient clinic I had before. And so we are a one-on-one clinic, and we're out of network. We are a Medicare Part B provider. We can talk about that and what the future with that is some other time. But that's the only insurance that we're in network with, and all the other patients we see are out of network and or self-pay.
Got it. I'm just curious because, I think when we check insurance benefits for prospective patients on the front end, it's a small percentage, maybe, I don't know, 30 to 40% of the time they actually have out-of-network benefits with their insurance plan. But there's a lot of plans that are EPOs or whatever that just are in-network only, and they have no out-of-network benefits. What are you seeing out there in the St. Louis area with out-of-network coverage? Is it 50-50? Is it above 50% of insurances that you check where they actually have out-of-network insurance benefits?
Yeah, I would say I would say that mostly, I would say 90% of the commercial insurance plan. Now, I'm not talking Medicare Advantage. I'm talking all the other commercial plans. I would say mostly all of those have out-of-network benefits. It's a matter of what that benefit is. And David, as you know, sometimes out-of-network's not too bad from a deductible standpoint. Sometimes the patient may have a $10,000 out-of-network deductible, which we know that's not ever going to be hit. But almost all patients in our area do have an out-of-network benefit with commercial insurance. Now, when you get into the Medicare Advantage world, because for us, we don't see Medicare Advantage mobile. We do see Medicare Advantage in the outpatient clinic. I'd say about half of the Medicare Advantage patients do have out-of-network, half don't, at least in our area. Now, I know down in Joplin, where I have a franchisee, Dr. Jimmy Wilson, most of the Medicare Advantage, they don't have any out-of-network. So maybe it just depends on the region.
Yeah, got it. So why pop open a clinic? I thought you were getting franchisees from, and you were trying to expand. I think you have Omaha and some other places that you have franchisees. So why a brick and mortar? And you're saying it, you're kind of hinting at like you're going to run it and operate it differently than the previous clinics with like overlapping patients and all that. So just give us some more like insight or context there.
Yeah. Well, we don't have a franchisee in Omaha, but if you know of someone,
Oh, I
Dave,
thought you did.
you send them my way, Dave. I'd be more than happy
Definitely.
to give you our referral fee. But anyway, I wanted it to me, it's all about patient choice. And so when I was doing mobile only, because I did mobile only myself for 3 years, there was a certain subset of those patients that I thought, you know what? If we had an outpatient clinic, they would probably be better served. The mobile model is beautiful. There is those people though, and especially as we came out of COVID, that really wanted the outpatient clinic. Some don't. And so we wanted to just give another option for our patient. And that's really ultimately what it was. And my whole career was in the outpatient world. So I wanted to use that experience I have to maybe not make the same mistakes twice as I went back into the outpatient world. And honestly, when we opened this clinic in July of 2022, one of the reasons, to be honest with you, that I wanted to open it was I wanted it to be a prototype because long term, I wanted to open up the franchising concept that if a PT wanted to go the outpatient route, we would have that model for them. If a PT wanted to come in and do mobile only, we'll have that model. So in 2024, probably April 2024, we'll be rolling out the outpatient clinic model if somebody wanted to franchise that, and then maybe they want to add mobile after that, or maybe someone wants to do mobile and then eventually after a year or two go in the outpatient world. So again, to me, it's about options. Not everyone fits into a round hole. Sometimes you can't put a square peg in a round hole. So I just really wanted to have options, and that to me was a big part of it as well.
And so you're doing one-on-one visits in this brick and mortar clinic?
Mm-hmm. We are. Yeah, we are. We do evals are 1 hour, follow-ups are 45 minutes. We don't double book. Granted, someone may be finishing up on compression and ice or something like that as we bring our next patient back. And we're very committed to that. We're very, very committed to that. And that's why we're not in network with the commercial private insurance. And you know what, Dave, just like you're not going to convert everyone, but that's okay. Again, like we've talked about in other podcasts, our job is not to treat every single patient out there. Our job is to treat every single patient that values what we really provide and our knowledge and our skill set. Because we can give things to patients that no other provider can. And if some people say, no, I'm not going to go see you, well, that's fine, And again, we're not a volume clinic, so I don't need 30 referrals a month.
Got it. So what else in terms of like your thought process, this clinic now, like what else is different or outside the box compared to before?
Yeah, a big thing that I wanted to do is I wanted new technology. I wanted a patient to come here and kind of be wowed because we do things that nobody else is doing or whatever. Or, I think that so many other industries out there really use technology. And I just feel like sometimes PT clinics, hopefully it's changing, but I think it was getting kind of stale. And I didn't want to have a stale clinic. So we have different technology that a patient can come in. We're a big fan of the newbie, which is pulse direct current. Shout out to Jason Waz, a good friend of mine, and to his company, New PT Tech, and to NewFit, who makes the newbie. For us, it's, I did not have it in the mobile model, but I knew once I opened the outpatient clinic, it'd be the first piece of equipment I bought. And so honestly, we're the only.
It's a little bulky to take to people's homes, right? I get actually, here in New York City, it wouldn't be feasible, but I guess where you're at, you're driving around everyone. I guess you could bring it from the car to inside someone's home.
You can, and actually, when you get it, it comes in a suitcase, so it is a portable thing. However, it's not inexpensive.
Yeah.
So
or something.
It's definitely more expensive than a normal eStim unit, but it's so much. I don't, to me, it's so much more functional. And we're seeing things with patients with neuropathy. You and I both know that when I used to be in my other outpatient clinic or wherever in my career I was, and I saw the word neuropathy come across, what am I going to do that they haven't had before? But we're seeing amazing. So again, I do want a technology. We use something called Fit Light in our practice, which are lights that you can work on balance training and things like that. So you're not just doing single leg stands, but you're having the patient much more active. I dry needle. Yes, we do exercise. We have pulleys. We do all that. But I just wanted to have technology that really set us apart, because some people drive far to come to our practice. But if people see value, they will.
How do you convey that value on the front end on a new initial phone call if they haven't experienced it? Maybe they don't have a word of mouth referral from a trusted friend. I don't know, they just Googled like physical therapy near me. They found your clinic or the home offering the concierge mobile model. Like, how do you and your team convey that in a, 5, 10, 15-minute phone call?
Yeah, well, the way that our process works, and I do want to give a shout out to Jerry Durham. I know you've had Jerry as a guest in your podcast several times. He's a very, very smart guy. So I definitely have talked with Jerry a lot about this because it's not easy. It's not easy to convert someone on the phone, but the way that we do it in our clinic and our model that I believe is probably the most effective, but it does involve the owner to do an extra thing, which we know Dave is tough. But for us, so when a new out-of-network patient calls, they call the front desk, or they call, if they're mobile, they call our remote patient care rep. And we get the patient information. We start to establish a little bit of trust with the patient. We want to know what that patient's all about. We don't want to, it's not, it's something where you need to develop a relationship with that out-of-network patient. And so anyway, so we get their information. My front desk will contact the insurance company, verify, and then it comes to me. Because to be honest, out-of-network to me is too important to, we just weren't converting when I let the front desk make the phone call. There may be some people
You're doing the call back to let them know about cost per visit.
Yeah, but again, before we bring up cost, I, just like Jerry Durham talks about, I want to know about that patient. So I don't even I don't want to lead with the cost. I want to lead with finding out more about that patient, because I want to know if I'm even the right provider for them.
Right.
I may not be the right person for them. And then I want to connect them with the right person. I want to make the right referral. That's our duty. But if I do feel they're the right, I let that patient talk. Because most times patients that come to us, Dave, know this, no one in the medical world really lets them talk because it's so rushed.
Right.
It's so rushed. All you have to do is go to your primary care physician. When did they last ask you about your family or what's going on about your pain? Or it's rush. So we let them talk, and then we talk a little bit about what I feel we can do for them, and then we bring up the cost. And since I took this back over, I'd say there's about 85% conversion. And prior to that, again, we were probably at 0 to 5% conversion.
Whoa.
So I took it back on knowing it was another extra step for me. But if we really want to become an out-of-network self-pay practice with some Medicare, it was important.
Right. Do you ever do discovery visits or tours, or do you say like if you're on a phone call with a prospective patient like this and you have the brick and mortar office, do you ever say, oh, why don't we just put something on the calendar? You can stop by for a 10, 15-minute visit. I'll show you around. We can meet each other. Do you do any of that at all, or is it all just over the phone?
I try to not do that because I want the patient to see the value that this clinic that I can provide, that my other PT can provide. What I do, and this is something that just came up about 2 weeks ago, it was a gentleman that the insurance he had, I believe the out-of-network deductible was so high, or maybe he didn't have out-of-network benefits, I don't recall. So he was going to become self-pay. And I could tell he was on the phone. He was a little bit squeamish about it. And I don't know if I can. I said, like, you know what? just come in for one appointment. Let me evaluate you. Let's see what's going on. And we can talk. And you know what? If that's all you want to do, then I'll give you an exercise or two, which I don't like doing on the first visit. But I said, just come in one time, commit to that one time. And then, Dave, if you can get the patient in your practice and do a thorough eval and give them information nobody else has, all of a sudden that one patient that wasn't going to pay a penny, we're on visit 6 or 7 now.
Yep.
And the thing is, he's getting better. So once they get him in the clinic and they see improvement, then I won't say the money issue totally goes away, but it definitely
less of a concern.
Yep. And the same thing from a mobile model as well. Once the patient gets our mobile PTs in there, one-on-one for an hour in the convenience of their home office, playing field, wherever they are, the money begins to not be a huge issue.
Right. I know I got to run in a minute or two. What's just a quick wrap up, this is a quick little episode about your situation. So what would be like a quick recap, either things that you're looking to add, things that you guys are focusing on? Are you going to add multiple other clinics in the area? Or are you looking to expand more of the mobile side? Like what would be a good recap at this time?
For me, I don't know. I don't know if we'll do a second or third outpatient clinic in St. Louis. If we do, they'll be concierge clinics, just like we have now. This is really a concierge clinic. It'll be the same kind of clinic. So I don't know where we're headed with that. I think from a franchising standpoint, we'll continue with the mobile model. We're adding the outpatient model in 2024. And I would just say for everyone that's on here on this podcast, because I know you have a huge following, Dave, and I know it's getting huger. I don't know if huger is a word, but it's getting more and more every week. Be bold, and if you accept the crap you get from the insurance company, it's going to be the same crap. It's not changing. It's not changing. You can have every service in the world, but I don't think you're going to see an increase in rates. And if you truly want to give the kind of care that we should give to each and every patient, be bold and take a risk, because I promise you, if you do it right and you treat people well and you're kind and you're thorough and you work your hiney off, it will work. It will work. So that's really, and really get out there and use technology. Everybody else does, every other field does. We should as well.
Yeah, awesome. We'll put your website and social media links below in the show notes. Mike, thank you so much for your time. It was great to catch up. It was awesome.
Thanks, Dave. I hope you and your family have a great day.
You too. Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey, it's Dave Kittle. Are you a healthcare business owner or physical therapy practice owner who is looking to figure out your succession plan or exit strategy? We might be able to help. And in fact, we may be interested in acquiring your practice. If you're interested, you can reach out to me. Shoot me an email at dave@conciergepainrelief.com. That's DAVE at CONCIERGE painrelief.com. Or you can call me at any time, 646-781-8884.